All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to dive into an all-new topic here on the brand new WDW Pro YouTube channel. We're looking at the Opryland Hotel, a fantastic hotel that you may not have heard of before if you're not from the area of Nashville, Tennessee. However, it is worth knowing about. Joining us today to talk about this fantastic hotel, which I was just blown away by, is Mr. John Golf, the infallible John Golf, who is coming to us from thatparkplace.com, the website that has now been relaunched. We had some difficulties from people who didn't want that website to be up, but some recoding has meant that it is back, and it is back for good. And we're so glad because Mr. John Golf is the travel writer there. He has traveled all over the country, and his opinion is worth reading. If you have not yet checked him out over on That Park Place, you want to do that because he has done reviews on all kinds of things regarding the Grand Canyon, regarding timeshares. He goes to Orlando all the time. He goes to festivals all over the country, and he is just a wealth of knowledge. One of the big things he did this past summer for That Park Place is he went to Yellowstone National Park, and on the way, he actually took reader requests and stopped at different places all along the way from his centralized location in North Georgia. John Golf, welcome aboard and welcome to the channel, sir. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Pro. It's nice to be back and nice to be online.
Hey, fantastic. It is nice to be actually online versus stuck in the ether of offline. So happy to have you on board. Now, the funny thing about this for everybody out there watching, and this is going to be a longer video than the ones that came out on the premiere day. So we're going to have a little bit more time here to talk. I want you all to know that we've listened to the feedback, and those 10 to 15-minute videos, you loved them. And we're so appreciative of all of you who are paying attention. But we also know that you want a little bit longer stuff in here too. One of the things we like to cover is everything that's fun. And this hotel is very fun. So the interesting thing about it is that just prior to That Park Place having to be taken offline for a month for it to be completely recoded and defended against malicious actors, is that John Golf had just prepared an article that has not yet seen the light of day, but which will very soon. And he was writing about his first experience going to this Opryland Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee. And I had missed that this was included in that final article that has not yet been up, but will be very soon. And so I also then made a separate trip without Mr. Golf to the Opryland Hotel. And what was so fun about this is that I as well came away from this with my expectations greatly exceeded by this hotel. In all fairness, I had been before, but it had been many, many years ago. And so I had sort of lost the impression of what it is. And I don't think that I stayed there very long. So I didn't really have the full grandiose nature of it. You may be wondering, if you're out there listening to this video, well, why do I care about the Opryland Hotel? And just know that this channel is all about things that are fun. We talk about travel and entertainment. We may talk about national parks. We may talk about Walt Disney World. We may talk about movies or games. And the reason that I think this hotel rises to the point that it's worth a video this early on, I think you're going to have a fun time listening to us as the photos change and go around showing you what it looks like. But I think the reason that it's noteworthy is because of something that my wife said as we entered into the hotel and as we got ready to settle down and all that sort of thing. The comment that she made was that she liked this place better than the Bellagio. And let me just say it again. She liked the Opryland Hotel better than the Bellagio. And I came away thinking, she's right, which was, I had no expectation of that to be the case. And I certainly didn't have that expectation as we were driving into Nashville on the interstate. And this place is not really in a location, like it's not on the Strip. You know, it's not somewhere that you're looking and you think, oh my gosh, this is, we're in the center of entertainment right now. It's sort of on the outskirts of Nashville. So, Mr. Golf, what do you think so far? Am I assessing this correctly? Did you have sort of the same realization as you entered into the hotel and went, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is here?
Yeah, most definitely. I wasn't even thinking about going out to the Opryland Hotel. We had really scheduled to go and watch a football game. And we figured while we were in Nashville, well, let's find something to do there so that, we're getting ready for Christmas. So, let's see if we can find something Christmassy. Well, I mentioned it to my colleagues that I was getting ready to do this trip, and they said, you have got to go to the Opryland Hotel because it is just amazing. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Well, they told me that parking would be about $11. Now, that was the time that they went. When we went, it was $33. And let me just say, it was worth every penny because we walked in and, of course, we walked in on the Magnolia side and, it just looked like a big convention center. It's like, well, not a whole lot to this, but as soon as you made it out to the atrium, like you're seeing on the picture right there, the architecture, of course, I went during the daytime, so I'm not seeing the experience that you're seeing right here. But you're still caught in a Christmas wonderland. And again, I got caught up in the architecture, the massiveness of the atrium, and just people going about. It's a small town taking place inside here, and it's just another Whoville.
Yeah, and so one of the things that I would say for scale, so everybody's looking at this picture right now of the atrium, and do you remember which atrium this is?
Off the top of my head, no.
But I mean, isn't that something though that we're talking about? Which atrium is it? Just so people understand the scale. This that you're looking at right now is one atrium on this hotel, and it is larger than the Contemporary Resort at Walt Disney World. Just so everybody has an idea of what we're talking about in terms of how big this place is. It is massive. Let me also say to everybody that you need to be a little careful if you go at times when it is mega crowded. So we're talking about Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, probably the 4th of July, although I've never attempted that. I only have this experience. I did notice when I went that they were turning away people who did not have some sort of reservation because they had reached capacity. So make sure that you go at a time when you're fairly assured that you can get in if you're not going to stay. And I will say too, the rooms are really nice here, but they're definitely not what you are paying for, and they are definitely not the reason to go, just because what is here is fantastic. Now, I had heard that and I have to be careful here. Let me just say this outright. The name of the Opryland Hotel, if people go and look it up, the company that owns it, there's nothing wrong with the name. But I am concerned that should I say it, that an algorithm will be confused and construe it in the wrong way. So just go look that up. Go Google it, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll see the conundrum that I'm in, that I just have to be a little careful. But that same company owns a similar hotel in Orlando, close to Walt Disney World. And I've been told that the grandeur of it is on the same scale as this. I just have a hard time believing it, and I've never been there, so I don't know for sure. John, have you ever been to the version that is down in Orlando?
I have not, but it has piqued my interest. I definitely want to go and visit it now.
Yeah, and so can you give us just a short rundown of the history behind this magnificent hotel? We're really not trying to prop this up more than it should be. I'm just telling you people, after having gone to see it, I'm telling you, I put this on a must-do list for tourism around America. You have to go see this hotel. And it's not just a hotel. Isn't that funny? We hear that with Walt Disney World. You go down to the Galactic Star Cruiser, the Star Wars hotel, and they tell you it's more than a hotel. It's a role-playing action experience, and you're going to LARP all week long. And, this is not something you're used to. It's worth the money. And then you go to this, and you're like, oh, no, this is what more than a hotel looks like. There are shopping centers in these atriums that are designed to be like the Gardens of Babylon. It's like Typhoon Lagoon between these hallways, and they have an entire water park attached to this thing. They have shopping centers, they have attractions. Like you said, they've got the Grand Ole Opry, which is a historical site that is on the same grounds. So, John, what's the history behind how in the world did this thing come to be?
Well, they wanted to attract some of the folks that were going downtown where the Opry was and attract some of those tourists out to their theme park. There used to be a theme park out called Opryland USA, and I guess the powers that be wanted something more of an annual, or how would you say that? Basically, want to draw more people in.
A year round. So for people who don't know, so Nashville is on the Cumberland Plateau, I guess. Is that correct, or is it on to the west of it?
Just a little bit west of it, I'm sure.
So how are you? But Nashville's a little elevated, and it's more central in the United States. It's in the central time zone, and what that means is that when winters come, it can be very cold there, and so having an outdoor theme park limits you. You know, and I know that there are theme parks. You know, in Michigan, there are theme parks in Indiana. So I'm not saying that you can't have. There's theme parks in Pennsylvania, but apparently the people over this wanted to have something they could do all year long.
Right.
So it's also attached to the Opryland Theater, though, right? The Grand Ole Opry. So, and what did they replace the theme park with? In other words, this is not just a hotel. It's also, I mean, it's an entire complex. What did they replace the amusement park with?
They replaced it with a mall. And the main attraction at the mall, of course, is I think that the main hub is Bass Pro Warehouse. They have a huge Bass Pro Warehouse right there. And then, of course, you have all of your major department stores. You know, you've got your Dillard's, you've got your Macy's, and then, of course, every other store that you see in all your typical malls across the nation. I mean, we spent probably just as much time in the mall as we did in the Opryland Hotel. And there was probably 4 football field lengths that we got to travel down, and it was stores lined up on both sides. So
I pulled this up actually on Google Earth so everybody can see it, so you can get an idea of the size of it. So this, and John, can you see this? What I'm showing right now, the satellite view.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the mall. It's massive. It is a huge mall, and you can kind of get an idea how an entire amusement park could fit in there. And that was Opryland, right? That was the name of the amusement park.
That is correct.
Correct? Okay. And then, so that is connected then. Here, what we're looking at is the Grand Ole Opry. And I'm not sure why this is not loading in like it should as fast as it should. Come on, internet. But you can Opry. And then over here is the hotel, which is just absolutely massive. And you can see the atriums that are built into it. I don't know how much land is owned additional to this. I don't know if they have expansion areas, but let me just show this while we can. And honestly, if I were in charge of this hotel, if I were in charge of the companies behind this thing, I can tell you 100% for sure this needs a parking garage, and these parking lots, they need to go because they need to put back in roller coasters or theaters or whatever, because it would be a full package. I mean, it would be up there with Walt Disney World Universal Studios if they put that kind of effort and money into it. And I would also recommend, because what we found was that there's a shuttle apparently that takes you from this massive shopping center and to the Grand Ole Opry and to the hotel. There's a shuttle, but I would recommend that they put in something like a train, something like a monorail, something like that, so that it maintains the immersion while you're in there. And again, you got to know that inside this hotel, there's an entire water park. There's additional shopping centers. I mean, you can sit at a Starbucks that's like on the 3rd level and sit there and watch riverboats go by. It kind of reminds me of the South Park episode where they go to Casa Bonita, right? It's just, it's like the thing has everything.
Right.
So fantastic. Tell me some of the things you liked best when you were inside the Opryland Hotel. I was trying not to say the word that I know I can't say because of algorithms. I almost slipped up there.
What I most enjoyed about it is how they brought so many live plants to the inside. They kept a natural feeling to it. You know, you got the waterfalls. Also, you have the rooms that are overlooking these atriums. If you're looking right now at this picture, those windows that you see right there, those are actual rooms that are looking out into the atrium. And to me, that would be awesome. But you also have to be careful if you're staying in one of those rooms. You want to make sure that your curtains are closed and everything, especially when you're changing clothes.
You're on display, I guess you could say, right, John?
Exactly right. On full display, if not careful. So, but that's what was so amazing to me. The architecture that you see here. And of course, when we went, it was a bright, sunny day. And here you see some of the waterfalls. Over there to the right, you can see a small waterfall, but you can tell that they didn't waste any kind of.
They didn't hold back, did they?
They spared no expense in making sure that they brought the outside inside and really did a great job of it. I mean, it was truly immaculate.
Well, I mean, it's like, so for people who are familiar with this channel, they're probably coming in here thinking on the Disney side of things. And I really hope people are sticking around for this. I don't know. This is kind of an experiment. We're talking about something that's really not Disney, and it's not movies or shows,
right.
But this is part of what we do at That Park Place, thatparkplace.com. And it's what you do is we talk about travel. And I think this kind of stuff is just very, I mean, it's fun to talk about, but I think this immersion is on the same level as Typhoon Lagoon. So for those of you out there who are Disney fanatics, you're going to know what I'm talking about. This is on the same level as Typhoon Lagoon, except it's inside a massive sprawling hotel. For example, that building that you see over there on top of the rocks, that is a steakhouse. And I'm told it's quite expensive. I didn't get to eat there. Maybe if I go back next time, we'll put that on the list. But then that water, that canal that's below that the waterfalls are pouring into, again, that is where you can get onto a little boat and you ride around, and there's a person that gives you a tour, and it goes through, I guess, multiple areas of the hotel, which is just, I mean, it's quite stunning. It's amazing that they did all this. Right. So when did you say this hotel was originally built?
1977, I believe.
So 1977, my opinion, looking at it, is that it's been expanded. You can kind of tell that it's been expanded quite a bit. Did you go over at all to the Waterpark area and take a look at that?
I tried to. We got to the entrance of the Waterpark, and then they have turnstiles there. And of course, if you didn't have the necessary, I think they had some kind of a card for you to get in, and you had to swipe the card.
Gotcha.
And if you didn't have it, then
or a little wristband or something.
Point. Yeah.
I see.
And I couldn't get past that point. And all I wanted to do was just take pictures and just kind of see. But I did.
Right, because you're a reporter. John, why didn't you tell them? Didn't you say, "Hey, I'm a reporter. I'm with the media. Let me through"?
Yeah, they don't tend to go for that. You
need a cap. We need to get you a That Park Place cap. That's what needs to happen.
Yes, I think that with a lanyard and
yes, press badge.
That's right. Get a press badge, and hopefully that would work. But I was able to go on the website, and you can find great pictures. It's not a huge water park, but what's nice about it is that it is an indoor water park, so you can use that year-round.
Right. Now, as we were talking about before, this hotel, and people saw it on Google Earth, it's situated on a complex, so it has a massive shopping center near it. So you could literally, I think you could spend 2 or 3 days at this hotel and not be bored whatsoever with all the things that there are to do in the hotel, plus the shopping center, plus the Grand Ole Opry. And then not only that, but you've got all of Nashville waiting for you if you so choose to explore. And by the way, the slide that we're looking at right now, I don't know how long they're going to keep this. I don't know if it goes all winter, but there's like a winter wonderland outside. And the hotel, by the way, has walls around it. So it has a courtyard, I suppose you would call it. But in that courtyard, they had set up, maybe, I guess this has got to be temporary, but they had set up a place that had like bobsleds and ice skating, and you could toboggan down a hill like you see here for little kids. And it's all lit up, and they had a DJ. And I mean, it was just like, for somebody who was going to this blind and thinking, I'm just going to stop by and see a little garden, between these two wings of a hotel, and I might grab a drink real quick, whatever. This was just, I walked away stunned.
Right. And it had an ice skating rink. I mean, I saw several folks that were walking up with their ice skates and were ready to lace them up. Also, while we were in Nashville attending that football game, we heard on the radio several times them advertising that it was 55 days that they would have the lights up and all the different.
What you're looking at now, too, by the way, the lights, I'm assuming that you're talking about in this massive courtyard.
Right.
So John, I take it based on our conversation, you would recommend the Opryland Hotel for people to go check out.
Oh, most definitely. And I'm looking forward to actually going and staying in a room so I can get a different perspective.
Right, right. And would you say that this hotel is the kind of place that you want to take, or maybe we call it a resort? I don't know. It kind of feels underwhelming to call it just a hotel. But is this the kind of place you take a family? Is this more of an adult experience? Who's the demographic here, or is there a demographic?
I think that as I have talked with more people after going myself, my wife has shared with me that she knows of people from our church that they have a ladies retreat that go out there with their grand kids and just make a weekend of it. And of course, you've got convention space. So I think
right, massive ballrooms.
I think that it could be just for a family getaway. It could be for a huge family getaway. I just think there's so much to do there that, it would be great.
Right. And so let's talk about what we would like to see here in the future. So, let's humor ourselves for a moment and assume that there's somebody in the decision-making process, maybe somebody with the company that runs this, maybe somebody within the governing powers of Nashville or the tourism industry of Nashville listening. Again, I would say that you need some sort of transportation system that keeps the guest immersed, because this is like a Disney experience where once you enter into this resort, into this hotel, you are surrounded by it, and it's great. You're cut off from the outside world. It's great. But then you have to sort of exit that feeling when you go to the Grand Ole Opry or when you go to the mall area. So I would recommend that they do some sort of transit system there that hides that, obscures it, and keeps you inside that envelope, that tourism envelope. And then I would also recommend that, again, parking garages. I would have a parking garage definitely to get your cars out of the weather, to increase capacity. And, I know that they closed the Opryland Hotel for not the Opryland Hotel, Opryland, the theme park, for a reason. But if you put some rides back here somehow, some way, even put them in an air-conditioned, climate-controlled atrium like what we're looking, I can't imagine the expense it would be. But if you do that, I cannot imagine that this would not be one of the premier destinations out there, especially, for people who are in this area, people who are from Kentucky, Ohio, people who want to come over from Missouri, Arkansas, et cetera.
Yeah, but this would be sort of like the Grand Canyon. This would be a place that people would want to come to, because have you been to the Opryland Hotel? Oh my gosh, there's so much to do there.
It's not like Nashville is empty of other things to do either. So
totally agree.
From what I have seen, Nashville is one of the second or third hottest market out there in the United States right now, fastest growing of the fastest growing cities. So it's not like there's a lack of things to do. Right. You put this out there and you plus it up a little bit, and it's already incredible. But man, I'm all about it. I will definitely be going back to the Opryland Hotel and back to Opry Mills, which is the name of the mall. Go ahead.
So, did you get a chance to go to the Festival of Trees? They had a Festival of Trees. There were 13 trees that were decorated by country music artists.
Nope. I think we saw that, but we didn't know what it was.
Right. So there were 13 different groups or individual singers. There was George Strait, Reba McEntire, Dan and Shay. Those are just some of the folks that I saw on that list. But they have a tree that they dedicate to decorating, and I got to see it from a second story view. I didn't actually get to go down on the bottom tier where all of them were displayed, but what some great looking trees. They were fantastic.
Sure. And I know that other places do this as well, but I was taken aback by the Christmas trees that were multiple stories again, which were
Oh yeah.
not actual trees, but were built out of poinsettias and the designs that they had used to make those trees out of poinsettias. I mean, it
Uh,
was really,
yeah.
really something. So again, let me say this to wrap this up. I agree with what my wife said. I would pick the Opryland Hotel if you can believe it. And I'm telling you the truth, okay? WDW Pro is not going to sit here and lie to you, because you can go to this place and check it out for yourself. But I would recommend this above the Bellagio. And I think the Bellagio is a fantastic place to be. But I got to say, I think this is more impressive. I think it's more impressive, and it's hard to believe. John, any final words on the Opryland Hotel and the entire complex on which it sits?
I was stunned. I mean, it really, as you pull up to it, you don't realize the massiveness of the property. But once you get inside, you just see a whole new town in itself inside there. And to see that there were 4, maybe even 5 different sections of the same thing, but done differently. I mean, it's just truly amazing what they've done with the Opryland Hotel.
All right, folks, you heard it here. Go see it. Go check it out. Take your family, take your friends. Don't go for one night. We're being honest. Go for multiple days. It's going to take you that long to take in all the stuff and to do all the stuff. And we're being honest here because there are going to be times when we do videos in the future where we're going to have to give a different type of review where we say, not sort of our cup of tea. But
Right.
if you enjoy this kind of content, if you enjoy this kind of looking at travel and leisure, this is what we want to do. Not just Disney, not just Universal Studios, not just Dollywood, not just gaming and TV and movies, but we want to take a look at these other things that don't get the attention that they deserve, like the Opryland Hotel. If you enjoyed this, please click that like button. Please click share. Make sure to subscribe, and also check out thatparkplace.com, where you will find Mr. John Goff over there writing articles on a very regular basis. And he's got all kinds of cool things that you should be doing, that you should know about, but you just don't hear about it because these places often don't have connections with some of the biggest media publishers out there who are too busy advertising the stuff that have major corporate interests. John, tell them real quick, where can they find you on Twitter?
On Twitter, I believe you can find me at John Golf. Lord have mercy. 61.
John Golf. There
John
we
Golf
go.
61.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. John Golf 61. He's on Twitter. Make sure to follow him over there. I'm over at Twitter at WDW Pro 1. And we thank you so much for joining us. We hope you are having a magnificent new year, and we will see you very soon. Everybody, have fun.